somehow be my only dues.
Hello everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing another one in the GYST series. If you guys don't know what that is, I'm basically filming a 4-video series of how I need to get my life together by the end of August. Quick little backstory. I'm moving away from Toronto. There's a video that explains everything about it. I'll pop it up on the screen if you guys want to go down that journey so I don't talk too much today. But I have pretty much 58 days left to get my shit together, get out of Toronto. And I feel like, to be honest, as much as that is like a physical truth, it's also a deep emotional truth. I'm really processing the fact that I'm leaving this city. It's been home to me for so long, but also just feeling like I'm ready for it and like cutting ties, but also just, I guess in a lot of ways, I'm just checking in with myself, which is exactly what today's video or this part of the GYST series is going to be themed after. We're doing the letter Y. I figured it would be fun to just, you know, go through each letter for the 4 different videos because it just added a theme element to it and I love a good theme. But for Y, I figure let's check in on how you're doing. How are we? Where are we at? And just checking in on that, I went back and looked at the first video I ever posted. It was back in 2017 that actually had like GYST or getting your life together in the title. And it was kind of creepy. Like I literally did this 5 minutes ago and I was wearing a rock t-shirt. And at the time in 2017, I was taking a caffeine detox, which is really weird, the parallels, and I've been on a decaf wave aside from like 2 or 3 caffeinated beverages since my birthday. I really drink about 1 decaf coffee a day. Like I'm more than 30 days in, but you just can't separate a girl from her coffee, okay? So weird. 3 years later, history is repeating itself. But we've leveled up, fam, because another really fun fact when I was watching that video is I was walking around swiffering my apartment. It's also the day that we decided that we were gonna call just this community the KOZE crew. So if you've been part of the KOZE crew since then and you've been gisting with me for a while, then you'll know how kind of insane it is to announce that today's GYST video is being brought to you guys by Swiffer. For GYST to collaborate with Swiffer, nothing has made more sense. It's like in the parallels of using the Swiffer and not knowing 3 years later we would be here doing this. The other really cool thing is I recently found out that my cleaning personality is the Zen Master. So if you guys are curious what that even means or what I'm talking about, I'll leave the link down below. There's actually a quiz you can take on BuzzFeed to find out exactly what cleaning personality you have. Now, like I mentioned, I got the Zen cleaner, which I feel like is very on par or on brand with how I am as a person because I clean to pretty much zen out. I've been a Swiffer user, like you can see from the old vlogs, for a while now. I love watching just Swiffers pick up all of like the hair and dust on floors, or when you're using like the duster up high on places you can't normally get and you pick up a lot. There's something that's so satisfying about that feeling, and that feeling is going to greet us today. I'm behind on my chores, I'm behind on my laundry, I'm behind on quite a few things. I find that cleaning is such a perfect opportunity to check in with yourself. It's like nesting in a way. You're like cleaning your space, you're really giving it that sense of renewal, and I feel like that's so important into my mental health and just to like how I feel. I'm very affected by my atmosphere, so I need a clean atmosphere, and how far I've fallen behind, it needs to be done today. So I'm gonna go through my cleaning routine with you guys in today's video, and then we'll jump into some other GYST-y things before the day ends. We're just gonna spend the day GYSTing together. Allow us to begin. so I've pretty much put everything away and wiped down all the surfaces that needed to be like cleaned, and now I'm going through and doing my dusting routine. This is actually a really fun fact. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but this was my chore when I was like a little kid. I was the duster of the family. After dinner, I used to sweep the floors. That was my job. It was sweeping the floors, wiping down the counters and the tabletop, and then my weekly chore was dusting the house. So I feel like Swiffer and me, we've been a team for like, since I think I started doing chores when I was like 7. So this nifty little tool, this actually extends to 6 feet. It's a good idea to do your dusting before you do your floors. I always finish with my floors last. And it's also really helpful for doing baseboards and such too. So I'm taking a quick pause to drink my decaf. Also just shift up playlists. I was listening to like my upbeat GYST playlist, and now I'm gonna go into a Babes Club playlist, which is basically just a bunch of songs that are all like feminine power. It's all girls on the playlist and things like that. I think that's one of the biggest things that I find helps me with cleaning, is just like putting on music and just zoning out into it's a flow-like state in a lot of ways. Like it gives me that sense of zen, it gives me that sense of calm, especially when I sync it to the right music, taking care of your space. And I feel like that's been a big thing for me lately. Like if I'm being really, really honest with you guys, my mental health since this year in particular, it's taken a hit on my mental health for sure. I try and keep things really uplifted and like high spirits over here on my channel and on the KOZE channel. But of course, like off camera, there's a lot going on and I don't always show that side. We've cried a lot this year together. I have shown more than usual. If it weren't for taking days like this, it's almost like my GYST days are mental health days in a lot of ways. It's like cleaning and just being in my own space. It's like showing up for myself, showing respect for the things that I own. I've paid a lot for this apartment and I'm really sad to leave it, but I love taking care of it. On top of that too, just like taking care of my body, just taking care of, like, that's the mood right now. It's really kind of the mood of this year. I have very high functioning depression. So I do find that when my mental health takes a hit, specifically when I'm feeling like more on the depressed side, like not so much with my anxiety, but definitely with my depression, I find that like the first things that go are usually the things like keeping on top of cleaning my apartment, just doing like the tiny little tasks that are usually things that I do on GYST days. And that's why I made GYST days a routine way back in the day, because it was like one day a week that I always dedicated to doing these little things that keep my mental health clear, that make me feel really calm, that make me feel really zen, to do like my responsibilities and my chores for myself and like literally for nobody else. If you do a GYST day where you do like a face mask or a hair mask, it's just kind of taking care of yourself. It's really, really important, and I think it's even more important right now with everything going on in the world to do days like this, to take time for yourself. I'm gonna finish off this decaf. Then I'm gonna Swiffer my floors. I'm gonna start with the dry Swiffer first and dust up all of the hair I shed like crazy. This guy doesn't shed at all. All of the hair that you ever see anywhere in my apartment, it's all mine. So I'm gonna go through and use the dry Swiffer first to pick up all the hair and then the dust. And then I'm gonna use my Swiffer Wet Jet, which is like my favorite thing in the world. Like hitting the button, jet fuel comes out, and then you just like Swiffer it all up. I don't know, guys, I'm such a geek about these things. It's weird because I feel like I've always kind of talked about mental health on my channels. I've always been open about it, but I always talk about things in a past tense. Imagine posting videos online that like friends can watch and people you're interested in can watch and your family can watch, and you're just being so cracked open, vulnerable. But I do want to get better at sharing when my mental health takes a hit, when it's actually taking the hit, and this year it has taken a hit for sure. Just really, really bad luck in a lot of different areas that have made me feel really out of control this year. Literally so Pisces, but I just feel a lot lately, and I feel for the world right now. And like this year I've needed those days more than usual. GYST days, just like, they really help with that. And taking the time to clean, taking the time to just kind of recharge and zen out, and having the cleaning routine has always really helped with that. Like even if it's just like 5 minutes of Swiffering my floor to like a really good song that puts me in the best mood ever, like I don't know, it works. So I'm gonna get into Swiffering the floors. Then I might do just a little bit of self-care. Like for instance, I need to give myself like an express pedicure. I'm not gonna do any face masks or anything because I already have a face on, and I'm going to my friends later for dinner. And then that'll pretty much, then we'll be GYSTed, recharged, and all of the above.
I've been in your waters, been knocking at your door. I know one thing for sure, I've never been so close before. You were truly my love, but it was over so fast. Just one thing to discover, it was never built to last.
Honestly, I feel like a brand new person. I don't know what it is about having a clean apartment and fresh nails and doing a good tarot reading, but I feel good. If you guys are curious about the overall consensus of the general oracle deck reading that I just showed you guys, pretty much the overall concept of that reading was to say no, to slow down, to take time for yourself. Now is the time of breaking patterns, of breaking chains, of breaking kind of like old habits and things like that. If you want me to bring it down to a really logical sense, I feel like it was honestly a reading to say that now is the time to be making shifts, to be breaking down the fates that we thought we were tied to. It's like unbinding ourselves from, I guess, our fears. And on top of all of that, cleaning our apartment and just getting a whole new sense of newness. So for those of you guys that actually don't know, I feel like it's really important to talk about this on top of everything else that we've gone over today in today's GYST video. Is I'm currently making a lot of transitions, a lot of choices, a lot of changes in my own life, unbreaking chains and habits that we're so used to. And one of my own is just becoming more of a conscious consumer. So I do want to talk about the fact that Swiffer itself is actually owned by P&G. If you guys know what P&G is, it's Procter & Gamble. They are a really, really big company. Now, what's not actually known is Procter & Gamble has put more than $420 million into discovering alternate types of testing to avoid the use of animal testing. They also don't test any of their products on animals anywhere in the world unless required to by law. Now, the really cool thing about being on my end of this industry, I guess you might say, is being able to talk one-on-one with companies and brands. So I know that the reason why Procter & Gamble puts forth so much money towards this is because their goal and mission is to eliminate all animal testing globally. Today, Procter & Gamble uses more than 50 non-animal alternative ways of testing their products, in which more than half of those are actually designed and discovered by Procter & Gamble themselves by doing this research. So I just thought that that was really good information to share, because I do think that a lot of that stuff can get really wishy-washy on the internet. Now, another really, really cool fact away from animal testing and more into the eco-friendly side of also how I'm trying to change and become a better conscious consumer is Procter & Gamble is actually also a part of this program called TerraCycle. It's a program that actually helps basically give better ways to recycle single-use products, specifically for home and air products and packaging. So what this means is that in Canada, specific products can actually be recycled through the P&G air and home recycling programs through TerraCycle. Now, you can learn a ton more about that at terracycle.ca, which I'm also going to leave the resources I'm talking about down below, so you guys can also further do the research if you feel like it. I just wanted to put that information out there because I do think it's important. I'm only human, I'm learning myself each and every day, but I guess it's just like if I can be of any help to share on my end of things, the information that I've had access to, then it's important for me to share it. The next gist video is gonna be a whole new level. We're gonna be decluttering and just like it's like a minimalism gist video, okay? So now that we've made game plans, now that we've cleaned and just kind of refreshed ourselves, now it's time to get down to the nitty gritty. Definitely stick by, turn on the notification bell if you guys wanna know when that video goes live. And aside from that, I love you guys all the way to Proxima B and back. If you don't know the reference, then I highly suggest watching the video I'll put up on the screen. And aside from that, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye guys.